You called his last race, didn't you?
I did his last win.
His last win. Yeah.
Talladega. Yeah, Talladega. I did. Bob Jenkins was out with back surgery, and myself and Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett. And I remember 3 laps to go, and I'm going through the top rundown, and I said, and running 18th is Dale Earnhardt Sr. Dale Earnhardt, back then he was just Dale Earnhardt.
Right. And, there was no senior or junior, right?
But there was Dale Jr. was running, but it wasn't Dale Earnhardt Sr. It was one Dale Earnhardt, and it was Dale Jr.
Right.
But, so I said, Dale Earnhardt's running an 18th spot, and Benny said, "Don't count out Earnhardt." And I looked at Benny, I remember in the booth, he's like 18th with 3 laps to go, but here he comes. And then what he did and how he finished. And the interesting part, if you go back and look the last 3 laps of that race, Dale Earnhardt Jr., being a young driver, he entering turn 1, he goes down on the apron to avoid another car. And if Dale Earnhardt Jr. spins or gets out of shape going on the apron going into turn 1, and the caution comes out, the race is over, and that's not his dad's last win. He doesn't win.
Right.
So he saved it, and then here comes his dad knifing through traffic, and then he wins a race. And I'll never forget from the time we called that race and we post-race and we're just sitting there shaking at themselves, at the marveling at what Earnhardt did. And we get out of the booth, and Benny and I are riding to the airport together. We get in the elevator, and we ride down the elevator. We get in the car, and I'm driving, and Benny's sitting there, and we're going around the back of the Speedway, Talladega Speedway, out by the airport to leave. And I look over at Benny. We still haven't said a word other than what we said on the air. And I said, Benny, I'm not believing what we just saw. I don't believe what we just saw. I said, what he did coming from 18th to win that race in 3 laps with passing all those cars, that ain't humanly possible. And Benny, without missing a beat, looked over to me and said, "Doc, he ain't human. He's our." And I'll never forget those.
So classic. I mean,
he's Earnhardt.
He's Earnhardt. I mean, it was his car probably wasn't. I mean, was it faster? It was probably just the way he was.
He hammered that throttle and never let up. He was going to drive it through people, around people, over people, whatever he had to do. But he was going to be he was passing them down low, up high. He was coming. The only way it was going to stop him is if you got in his way. And if you got in his way, he was going to move you.
Yeah, even sure. I'd hate to have crashed him back in the day and have him come walking over to your trailer. That probably wasn't a pleasant exchange.
You've been listening to the Classic Auto Mall Show with your host, Stuart Howden.